Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, I'm your host, Mrs. M, and welcome to our disaster relief, middleman, and how to sell to the government. And today, this is our GovCon Lunch and Learn. We're going to emphasize a couple of basic things, and then I'm going to take you right in to understanding the steps that you need to do to win a government contract. So every week, we give you something different, and today, that is what we're going to give you different. So I'm going to take you through what you need to do, what requirements you need. If you want to do disaster relief contracts, how do you find them? Who do you work with? What do you need to have your federal contracts? All of that is what we're going to cover. So hold tight. I'm actually sharing my screen. We're going to pop right here and we are going to get started with the slideshow presentation. So, what I like to do when I go into this government is to let you know that there are a lot of governments available or contracts available. So, do not allow anyone to tell you that it is going to be impossible to win a government contract. What you want to know is that there is a wrong way and there is a right way. And a lot of people do the wrong way. So in this GovCon Lunch and Learn, my goal is to share with you what you need to do to win a contract in 2 weeks to 90 days. And you're going to also understand that there are things and steps and agencies that are going to be better to win a contract. So I'm going to have you on and off in about 30 minutes. And then what I'm going to do is invite you to join me if you want to learn more. Okay, let's go. So I've been doing this for years, and they spent over the government like over $158 billion in 2023. 2024, it was even more than that. Now, there are three ways that I've learned that are a lot easier to win a government contract if you do not have a lot of capital and you have no past performance and it's just you. And that is if you're doing disaster relief, the middleman is easier and reselling products. I say reselling because you're reselling to the government. So, like I said, fast fact, don't be concerned with winning the big contracts. We want to focus on the easy wins. And then it's like a step by step process. We build up where we end up smashing it and actually winning a larger contract. So the goal is to know that there is no secret when it comes to winning a government contract, but it's a process. It's all about understanding that you have to do A to do B, and B to do C, and C to do D, and so on and so forth. A lot of individuals want to go straight from A to F. They want to go straight from winning or getting a cage code to winning a two, 300, $400,000 contract. And that's per year, which would be a total value of $1 million. A lot of these individuals have no past performance. They're new to their industry, or they don't even have any past performance in the private industry. Now, do you need past performances? Absolutely not. But you do need a past performance if you're looking at going from zero to like 400 or 50 or $500,000. So that's what you want to understand. So I'm your host, Mrs. M. Thanks for joining me. And my goal is to give you clarity and confidence in winning government contracts by the end of this masterclass, which we call our GovCon Lunch and Learn. I will talk, or I do have a tendency to speak very quickly because I get a lot excited, really excited, and I'm excited for you. And I know that this is a great place to get started. Now, the purpose of this is to give you a little information on what I call the high level, not the eye level. The high level means that I'm giving you bits and pieces to see if this is a good fit for you, and also to give you some nuggets that you can implement today when you're done. Now, I'm going to give you this information in about 30 minutes. 15 minutes will be spent on sharing with you just the basics of government. Then I'll do 10 minutes on sharing with you the steps to government, winning steps, step by step. And then I'm going to give you like 5 minutes on if you are looking at what the next step should be. Now, if after you finish this GovCon Lunch and Learn, you are really, 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 really chomping at the bit and you want to learn more, then stay tuned. I'll give you a way to join me as well. So the first thing we need to understand is that the government is very competitive, that there are billions of dollars that are spent every year. that you do not need a certification. You do need a cage code if you're looking at doing federal contracts, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And then there is the understanding that this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. You're going to take your time, you're going to see progress, but you have to understand that this is something you have to learn. Government is a learning curve, but you can learn rather quickly, and that's my goal. Our students have been so fortunate. They've won over $215 million so far in government contracts. And we have numerous case studies. One is like a 1.1 million, and we will make sure that we give you the links to those. Also, for anyone that stays to the end, we are going to make sure that we give you a couple other little great things. So Bree attended our 2-day workshop just like you guys did in May of 2023, and she won her first contract, and she won it in under a year. As a matter of fact, she won in like 90 days. Why was Bree the exception? I'll tell you that towards the end. So stay tuned on why Bree was able to jump over some of the hurdles that some people can't. And she is the exception, not the rule. That's what I want you to understand. By no means do I want you to think that this is so easy. You can do it with your eyes closed, but it is not complicated. I love having a great time. This is our GovEdge Procurement Conference in 2023. And then we have our GovEdge Procurement Conference in 2024. Now, I do 2 conferences a year. The next one we're going to have is going to be April of 2025. And it's going to be on, as a matter of fact, it's going to be on April the 15th. So anyone that's interested, we're going to have a way for you to look at joining me for our GovCon, or what we call the GovEdge Con lunch. And we're going to do like a whole little training where we get you prepared to win a government contract. And I do this twice a year. If you become one of my students, you get discounts on tickets. And then I do an actual conference where you get a discount on the tickets because I actually have you go with me to meet some of the government contractors. And some of them come sometimes to our conferences. And then also in September, I do a free, so absolutely free with government contractors that are at our conference as well. So we really try to make sure that we let you understand that there's a learning curve, but to constantly strive at learning more all the time. So this is our VIP training. This was in 2025. We had an absolute fantastic time. And this is us doing a VIP training. And we did this in 2023. And then we had our other VIP training in 2023. This was absolutely free. So if you stay to the end, you are going to receive one of the things that are necessary, which is that capability statement. And this is a what we call like an outline. It's going to tell you all the things you need for winning a government contract. And one of the things is a capability statement. Now, we actually do this with our students where we help them outline everything in their CAPE statement. What we're going to do is give you some of the things that you need and help you think about where you're going to put past performance, what you're going to say when it comes to what makes you different. All of that is what they look for. And this is a requirement. So now that we want to talk about the requirements, go ahead and take out a pen and paper so I can give you what that is, what the requirements are. In order to do contracts with the government, federal level, you will need a cage code. So you're going to have to go to sam.gov and obtain your cage code. You are going to need your capability statement. You are going to need to know what your NAICS codes are. Also, I suggest that you have your dsbs.gov profile. Now, I'm giving you the high level. On the eye level, we take you through obtaining your cage code at no additional cost, as opposed to being an extra cost if you're one of our students. We take you through having a template for your capability statement. We walk you through creating my favorite thing, which is not having to work a 9 to 5, because we help you create a signature statement. So let's say you're tired of working a 9 to 5, or you have a business, you're not making enough money, or you just want to get started with government contracts and add that to your business. Then understand the average time frame for winning a contract is 18 to 36 months. And it takes so long because people do not have a system. That's the key. You have to have a system for everything in business, and government contracts is no different. So my promise is at the end of this GovCon Lunch and Learn, you'll know exactly what you need to do. So let's look at my system, my OBART system. This is the formula that I've used to personally win contracts, and we've had this for our students that have won that 215 million, not 200, just like two, like not just like two, but $215 million in contracts, and these have all been won from using this system. So the first thing you have to do is make sure you know what you're offering the government. What is it that you want to offer them? Then you have to know who your buyers are and where they are. So you need to know who they are, where they are, and what is going to make them want to buy from you. You have to choose an avenue to win. I focus on disaster relief contracts, the middleman, and reselling to the government. You want to build relationships, and these can be done from LinkedIn to going to conferences to reaching out via the phone or emails, or making sure that you are available on profiles and vendors. So you want to reach out to them, but you also want to be where they're looking. That's where they are. And you want to make sure you're in those profiles. One of the profiles is the vendor profile of any of the agencies that your buyers are. And the other thing is you want to make sure that you don't forget the teaming partners. We love teaming up other small business owners with each other so that you can concentrate on winning contracts together. So our OBART system is pretty simple. Anything with government falls within here: offer, buyer, avenue, relationship, and teaming. There's about 8 avenues. We focus on the low hanging fruit. That's where you're looking at winning a contract between $25,000 and $250,000, because this is where a government buyer can award you this contract with absolutely no bidding. This could be based solely on building a relationship with them. That's the main part, and it's called a simplified acquisition procedure. This works in any industry, and I always suggest to not have more than 3 NAICS codes. You want to be a specialist and not a generalist. You don't want to try to look as if you could do everything, because that's impossible. One of the advantages a small business like ours has is that we can't do everything, but we do one thing or no more than 2 or 3 things well. Not trying to do everything like the large businesses. We want to focus on being small and specialized. And you want to work with smaller agencies, and you want to be prepared, positioned, and be ready to get that proposal ready if that's one of your avenue. Then you need to perform, you want to do partnering, and you want to make sure that you make profit. So my story, I was in the Air Force for 12 years, loved it, but I knew I wanted to make more money and have more control. So I ended up doing commercial first with a facilities management business. I ended up hiring employees, but I did have subcontractors. Now, when I decided to do government, after some success in once I set up systems, when I was ready to do government, I knew that I needed a team. So I hired subcontractors, but I also was a subcontractor myself. That's what we call the middleman. I've been fortunate to work with over 25 government agencies with over 35 NAICS codes or 30 NAICS codes in the last 28 years. So I've worked with GSA, Veteran Affairs, Homeland Security, made millions of dollars because I created a system, and that's what I'm sharing with you. This is one of my workshops in Atlanta, Georgia. I had over 300 employees in there. We had a fantastic time, or 300 attendees in there. This is me doing the teaching. And I just want to let you know that these are the basic things you're going to need. You're going to need business cards. You're going to need your CAPE statement. You're going to need your introduction letter. You're going to need your capability briefing. You're going to need your signature offer. You need to know what you're offering the government, and that's the very first thing you need to do. Now, let's go over exactly the steps for government. If you are looking at doing disaster relief, you're going to choose one of the 4. That's one way to get into DRC. And then you're going to go to FEMA.gov and make sure you fill out your vendor profile form. And that is going to allow you to start doing government for disasters. Now, we do a whole training on just DRC. That's what we call eye level. I'm giving you the high level. Now, steps to setting up and being successful is what I'm going to share with you. And then I'm going to give you a way if you're interested in actually working with me. So let's take a look at it. O for offer. What are the steps for being successful in government? Well, one of the steps for being successful in government is to know that you're going to offer something and you're going to make it unique by finding out what your competition is offering. So your offer should be a sort of like a research project where you look to see what your competition is doing and what are they offering. And you can find this by going on to dsbs.gov and looking at some of your competition. You can do this by going on to different websites in your area by just Googling government businesses that do government contracts in your industry, but you want to know what they're offering, and then you want to actually come up with a specialty. So let's say I'm looking at doing security guards. Well, security guards is a little hard to kind of set yourself apart, but these are ways you can definitely set yourself apart. You can set yourself apart because you have years of experience. That always sets you apart. You can set yourself apart by the way you train your security guards. Maybe the average trains for 1 week and you have a specialty training that's lasts 30 days before they're no longer partnered with someone else. You can set yourself apart by the fact of your quality assurance that you provide for your security team. So there's ways you can set yourself apart. But one of the main things is creating a signature offer. And that entails creating two or three things. Usually, you want to go with three things that make you different. Some of the things I gave you. You can do it cheaper. You can do it faster. You can do it different. You can do it better. You can do it with more experience. You can do it because your training is different. So you can just focus only on your training, and that alone will set you apart. But you've got to be able to have that packaged in a way that the government buyers understand it. One of the great ways to package that is by creating a signature offer with a signature name. You create the name. It doesn't really matter what the name is, but you want to make sure that it makes sense. Our name was Encore Enhanced Program. Our Encore Enhanced Program did three things, and these were the things that it did. So we talked about number one, it saved money. We talked about how and what was the benefit for the buyer. Always think about what's in it for them, not for you. Then I talked about our training. We had an impeccable training system and how we did that. I explained what was in it for them. Why do they care how great our training is? Because they're going to benefit XYZ. And the third thing was our experience. We had years of experience. Our staff had over 30 years of experience. What does that look like? Well, being experienced means there's going to be very few turnover. You're going to be able to have a um, experienced team to solve problems that other new businesses may not. Now, if you don't have those things, you can always create a training program. You can always create something that looks as if you're doing it faster or you're doing it better or at least different. So, three things that's going to go with your signature offer. And then you're going to jump on naxcode.com to actually look for the NAX code that's going to be great. Remember, you want to specialize, not be general. So, no generalization, you want to be specialized. Your buyer. Your buyers are going to be on fpds.gov, and your buyers are going to be on dsbs.gov. So you want to look at dsbs.gov, and that's where your buyers are going to be. Now, you want to triage your buyers. That means you want to go to, let's say you find out your buyer is on, and the number one way you're going to find your buyer is on usaspending.gov. So let's say you go to usaspending.gov and you find out who your buyers are. And once you have three buyers, then you want to go to their websites and you want to start looking at what they're looking for. You want to know what their problems are so you can market to them in your website, in your CAPE statement, and in everything you do. You can market to them and let them know this is what you provide. That's going to put you 70% ahead of the game because most individuals have no idea what the problems are of their buyers. Are there, if they're doing transportation, Is it a long lead time before they get the products? Is there no communication? You need to know what is the problem that your buyer is having. And normally this is going to be explained, or they're going to say what they need at the very least. And so you want to visit these websites. So if I'm looking at working with the Department of Homeland Security and I want to know what some of the problems are with disaster relief contracts, one of the problems is they're not experienced. The other problem is they're not well trained. The other problem is that they may not really specialize in something they say they do. So you want to be able to know that this is what you can offer. You're going to offer the middleman where you may not have the experience, but the person that you're looking to hire as your sub, which is your middle person, your middleman person, they do. You can put their experience right on your capability statement. And this is where you're going to make sure I'm giving you the high level, but we teach you how to vet them. We teach our students how to find them. We teach our students how to be attractive to a subcontractor. You've got to get them to want to work with you. You're going to find the contract, but you can't perform the work. So both of you need to feel as if you need each other. So offer, buyer, avenue is what makes you stand out and how you get there. So you want to stand out because you know what avenue. Is your avenue going to be disaster relief contracts? Is your avenue going to be the middleman? Is your avenue going to be on dibs reselling to the government? That's what you want to focus on. So one of the things you want to really understand is your step to winning a government contract is when you understand this. I have no prior experience. I don't have a lot of credit available to me. I do not have a large savings account. So I need to find bids between 250,000 or lower than 250, around 25,000 to maybe 100,000 as my very first bid. I need to find one agency and I want to try to do it through the no bid, through a simplified acquisition procedure. Now on fpds.gov, they have SAP. They have simplified acquisition procedures. And in our next GovCon Lunch and Learn, we're going to spend nothing but time on looking for simplified acquisition procedures. That's on FPDS. But we do go through all of that in our workshop that I'm going to talk about in a couple of minutes. We give you all of this, how to really pinpoint your offer, how to really come up with your signature offer, how to specialize and not general, how to not be a generalist, but a specialist, how to really, really pinpoint your buyer and find out what their problems are. We also talk about the other avenues. One of the avenues is looking at doing a quote, looking at sources sought, trying to be a sole source, and also doing proposals. We always look at the very least and what we call the lowest hanging fruit, which is trying to find a simplified acquisition procedure and building that relationship where that contracting officer reaches out to you, calls you, and tells you that they want to work with you. This happens to our students all the time because they position themselves to be attractive to that government buyer. They really, really, really need you, but they want someone that they know is going to perform the work and do an outstanding job. And there's ways you can do that, and we teach that in that workshop. One of the ways is building a profile on LinkedIn and making sure your profile is attractive. And the last thing is teaming with other partners, other small businesses like you. Now, there's a difference in joint venture. That's when you create a company and you guys do it. You have a company, they have a company, you create a company together and you come in as partners. I like doing the small business teaming. That means I find a contract because I'm really good at it and you've got the money, or I find a contract and you have the experience. We team together. It's very challenging to conquer this government world when it's just you. So these are the things that you want to look at. Some of the key players are small business program, contracting officers, OSDBU, and such. So there's so many things you can do, and you probably feel overwhelmed. And yes, there are basic requirements. There's all kinds of things that get you there. But ultimately, we all come to this point where we're at the end of the road and we all have a story. I'm a single parent. I work a 9 to 5. This is just too hard for me. I've heard it all, and there's always someone out there that's able to overcome that and do a great job. We just need to know if that's going to be you. So you're at the bridge, you have like a new epiphany. What is that going to look like for you? So you can either choose to continue on your own, and it may take you the 18 to 36 months, even after you have your cage code to win a bid, or you can decide to join with us. We have a disaster relief workshop where we give you bids, we break into small groups, we do quarterly meetings, we have upgrades for any of our courses where you get a full credit from this. And what happens is, as you can see, people have won contracts left and right. And this works for anyone. So what we have is we have our school platform. And on that platform, you have 24/7 access and you're a lifetime student. You get a login and you get in there and you will learn all about how to win a disaster relief contract. We also do partnering because we have contract availability in a lot of times in Florida, and we're also in the DC area. So you would become a partner with us and you would have our DRC workshop. Um, and let's just scoot this down here. You would have live, let's go back here. So you would have the DRC workshop. I have a live GovCon coach where we do, once you've completed the DRC workshop, and you can take as long as you like, we have a monthly live. So we reinforce what you've learned from the workshop at your own. It's like on demand, so you can do it 24/7. And this is lifetime access, and we update it often. We then couple that with a live training with our GovCon coach. We also give you 2 weeks to bid. This have over thousands of daily bids. And we also, let's make sure, we also help you get positioned. So this is where you are. We like to offer this, and our goal is for you to be able to win a contract in 2 weeks to 90 days with our workshop. And the goal is to teach you the step by step. I know we gave you the high level, we give you the eye level. We actually hold your hand. So we have a hybrid. You go online, you learn so much, and then you take the live. And after you graduate, you do get a graduation certificate. You then have access to all our workshop sessions. You have it's like a 3-day workshop online. We give you our access to our Facebook invite. That's nothing but disaster relief students that are available. We also give you 2 weeks of bids. So you have 2 weeks to find bids. And we teach you how to do the simplified acquisition, how to win a bid without bidding. So all of this is available and is valued over $1,500. And we give you this. And all you need to do is text your name and your email to 407-595-1598. Text your name and your email address to 407-595-1598, or use the link that is available to click on and sign up automatically. We'll offer this at a $297. If you visit our website, it's normally $397. And our website is thegovedge.com. So www.thegovedge.com. You'll see all the things that we offer, and our workshop is our entrance level. That means you don't have to have any previous experience. You don't have to have your cage code. You don't have to know anything. We're here to help you. So if you have any questions, make sure you reach out to us at 407-595-1598. And this is our GovCon Lunch and Learn. I'm Mrs. M, your host. I look forward to seeing you or having you as one of our students. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.